You ready?
Yep.
You're not ready. You're looking at shaved head girls. X-Files, Season 3, Episode 21, Avatar, not The Last Airbender, not Pandora and the Na'vi.
No.
Totally different Avatar.
Totally different.
This is a Skinner episode. This is the most Skinner we've gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get the skinny.
You get the skin
on Skinner. No, the skinny.
The skinny on Skinner.
The skin. I mean, we do get to see him in bed with somebody.
A little bit of skin.
We get a little Mr. Skinner.
Skin. Yeah.
Mr. Skin. You know what Mr. Skin is?
No.
Of course you don't, because you're not a guy. Mr. Skin.
Who's Mr. Skin?
With the smile? Mr. Skin? It's a website. It's a website
is it a porn website?
That guys like me used to go to.
Oh,
and it tells you exactly. You can click on any celebrity or type them in, and it will tell you in what movie and at what timestamp they're naked in a movie, if they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. All right, so Skinner's getting a divorce. I don't even know if we knew he was married. He probably was wearing a wedding ring, right?
Yeah, he has a wedding ring on, but I don't think we ever know much about like his private life.
We don't know anything about his wife.
So
we have the air conditioner on, so I apologize for the sound, but
it's
dude,
really hot.
I was sweating when we started, and I was like turning off the air conditioner right now.
Yeah.
No way.
Bad idea.
No way. It's a bad idea, right?
Yeah.
So he's getting divorced, and how does he fill that void within him? He fills it with a hooker. Now
he doesn't
know it's a hooker, but somebody pays for that hooker.
Yes.
And they say it's Skinner, and we do find out someone's framing him in the end by a airbag impression scan, which seems a little bit like bullshit.
A little bit.
Especially in like the mid 90s. I just don't buy that they had that technology.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wonder. So like, do I think he killed the prostitute? No. Do I think he paid for the prostitute knowing she was after they went up to the room? Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it because
he loves his wife, but he had sex with her.
Yes, he did, but
and he knew
I don't
that.
think he knew that she was a. I don't know. It just feels like a setup for everything else.
I have proof that he 100% paid for her.
With the card?
Well, because he unless she wasn't a prostitute, but I think she was. Like, I think we're confirmed that she's a prostitute,
we're confirmed,
right?
But his card is used.
Okay, so it's possible she was paid for ahead of time?
Yes.
And sent to him, and like, unbeknownst to him, it was a prostitute that came and hit on him?
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's possible,
because he was surprised.
I would think that they would know the timestamp of when it was ran. Or did she take it down ahead of time? Like, back then, I don't know how those work. She doesn't have the square.
They don't talk about the, like... they don't talk about the timestamp or anything. They just talk about that fact that it's Skinner's card that's used.
You think prostitutes use square now?
Probably. But he's surprised, like, when Mulder is, like... When he tells him that she's a prostitute, he's like... He doesn't know.
They don't know him at all. In fact, Scully even says, we don't even really know him. When, like, Mulder is dead set on helping him.
Skinner's surprised when Mulder tells him.
Well, of course he's going to act surprised.
No, I'm on Skinner's side.
What?
I'm on Skinner's side. I don't think he knew. I think this whole thing has been a setup, ultimately.
I think it's fair, but the fact that he had sex with her and he knew he had sex with her, like, he did that.
Yeah.
Right? So I could make the argument, like, oh, he was set up. He loves his wife. He wouldn't want to do that. But it's like, no, he had sex with her. So, like, that next step of paying her is not that far of a stretch. Like, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. I'm probably leaning in the direction that he's framed for it. But I'm not 100%. I'm not 100%.
Okay, that's fair.
He was in Vietnam.
Yeah, and he also smoked stuff, as he said.
Yeah, and a lot of those dudes to take the edge off, we're taking in some Vietnamese prostitutes. So I don't think this would be his first rodeo down that path. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Skinner paid for the prostitute knowing it was a prostitute? Or do you think that part of it was also part of the frame and he just had sex with her thinking that she was a willing participant with no compensation? I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Unless it's outright said in the episode that there's like proof that he didn't. I don't think so. I'm 99% sure that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Let's move on. It's such a waste of time to talk about it for that long. But welcome to Sinister Cinema. That's what we do. Skinister Cinema.
Skinister
today.
Cinema.
Okay, so yeah, he sees her as an older woman. We keep seeing this older woman in his head.
Yes.
This is his mom?
No.
Well, do we ever get confirmation on who this is?
Yes, this is the woman that saves him when he is like dying in Vietnam.
Oh.
She's the woman that like rescues him.
Yeah, we watched this episode like 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the whole time she's like essentially trying to
help
warn
him
and help him,
Mm-hmm.
but he's freaked out and doesn't really know what's going on. So he's interpreting it as like a bad omen that she's there.
One thing I really like about this show when it comes to people having paranormal experiences or, unexplained events or whatever, like Mulder is so okay with it and he gets a lot of shit for it, right? Throughout the show. But when anyone else experiences it, even when it's him they're talking to, they're still very reluctant. And Skinner refuses to tell Mulder anything, like, at first. And kind of starts to divulge things, but still won't, in the end, completely give into it. And it's like, of all the people you could be honest with about this, but he also doesn't want I don't know. Do you think it's like he doesn't want Mulder to know out of embarrassment, or like he doesn't want to admit maybe Mulder's right about other things?
Maybe both, but I think that this episode really shows how closed off he is. Like, even with his wife, she's like, he never opens up to me. Like, he doesn't want to share how he's feeling and everything. And I think that's really what's happening, is that he just like doesn't want to trust Mulder with his true feelings about whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We also get Skinner's wife gets ran off the road. Of course, they're trying to frame him for it. She goes into a coma that she does wake up from. You think they get back together? He puts his wedding ring back on at the end.
I don't think so, but at least, well, maybe they do.
I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they do, because I think the reason she's leaving, because he straight up does not want it over at all. He won't even sign the papers in the opening.
Yeah.
They basically talk about how the reason she's leaving is because he's like just emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
And the fact that she divulges something to him, we don't get to hear what this is, and I don't think we ever get to find out like how he knew that they were at the hotel.
Yeah.
Whatever she told him, I guess, is what brought him to the hotel to kill the assassin guy that was framing him. But I think with that, maybe that's their connection moment, where she feels like she can divulge something to him, and he can do so the same. I think this experience is going to change him and hopefully make him more receptive to talking about his feelings. He's just a very closed off, typical soldier with PTSD.
Yeah,
he was
definitely.
in Vietnam at 18.
Yeah.
To send kids over anyway, I mean, to do war at all and to have people in it at any age is insane. But an 18-year-old who literally just became an adult, just is starting their life.
It's so sad.
To send them over there, and if, they either die, they get horribly physically crippled, or horribly mentally crippled, or both. Like, you don't come back from that totally fine.
No, not at all. Definitely not.
I told you I had this client years ago who was like in Vietnam, and he'd killed multiple people, and his wife told me about it. He was fine talking about it, but like this guy, he's the only person I ever met from that war that genuinely didn't seem to care. And like he loved war games. He was obsessed with them. He liked buying all the new ones when they came out, the Modern Warfares and the Call of Duties. And he loved playing them. It's what he talked about every time he came in. He would be like, oh, I got the new Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so good. He was in his 60s or something.
Yeah.
And he would come in. This was maybe 10 years ago. But he would come in and he would just talk about them like he loved playing like war shooters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you have literally killed people in war.
Yeah.
And he told me some stories from it. And he said that like he was like a recon guy that would go behind enemy lines, sneak in, and most of his kills were with a knife from behind. And he would like explain it to me
That's
like
a bit of a red flag, I feel.
he was like, you know, their neck is like cutting through butter. Like it's so much like softer than you would think.
Ugh. Yeah, it's a big red flag actually.
But he was, I'm telling you, I know this sounds insane, but like, and he might be a serial killer, I don't know. But he was the nicest guy. When you talk to him about anything, he was just so happy-go-lucky, thought everything was so great, always came in smiling and shaking my hand and just like
so
direct
weird.
eye contact. He had no like PTSD symptoms.
Yeah.
Like traditional ones. Maybe that's a one, but
I don't know. I think that probably he had something wrong. Like
the fact that he plays those games.
he might have been a sociopath because I don't think that you can like kind of do those things without having some repercussions. Even if you feel like you're justified and like you're protecting your country or whatever, I think that like if you're a relatively normal, mentally healthy person, like as you know, not sociopathic as you know possible, I feel like you'll still have some effect from doing that.
I mean, I don't want them to go at all, but I also don't want them to come back mentally destroyed and like, you know, end up killing themselves, because that's what ends up happening. Anyways, we're getting way too off topic here, but I just, you know, with Skinner, it is relevant. Skinner has a very dark past, and he does not, I mean, he tells that story to Mulder in a different episode. It's a different episode. He walks into the room and he tells him a story about like a kid that he had to shoot.
Oh yes, yeah, you're right.
Who had like a
episode.
grenade.
Yeah.
And he had to gun him down. And he was like,
well, he himself is still a kid, pretty much.
And Mulder was like, "You never told me that story."
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely traumatized.
Yeah.
From his time in the war. As who the hell wouldn't be?
Yes.
Besides my client, who's
Besides that
clearly
guy,
a psychopath.
Apparently, yeah.
I don't know why Skinner's hearing is so darkly lit, but it's always so funny, this room. And they do it in other episodes too, when Mulder's on trial with his like superiors.
Yeah.
Like Skinner goes in and Scully's trying to like fight for him. And it's just like a completely dark room and a big long desk with just a couple lamps on the tables for light.
It's crazy, I know. It's so
like,
dark.
Are you trying to be intimidating?
Yes, they are. There's no other explanation for why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
You were joking that the FBI didn't pay their electric bill.
There's candles on the table.
There's no reason why it should be that dark in there.
No.
They're literally reading documents.
You can't read the depositions and stuff.
Looking at each other. So stupid.
So silly.
It would be brightly fluorescently lit.
100%. But it's for the ambiance of the show.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. But we get some really good character stuff here with Skinner.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that we get to know him more, get a glimpse into his life, his backstory, the fact that he has these like nightmares of this woman, that he runs from her, and ultimately he finds out that she's been trying to help him, and in doing so he finally like comes towards her for the first time. And when he does that, it turns into his wife, who then tells him something that ends up having him save Mulder and Scully from his would-be assassin. So good stuff. Yeah, I like the episode just because I want more Skinner.
Yeah, I agree. I love Skinner. I think he's a great character, and I appreciate that we're getting like a full episode with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And what do you guys think about my client? You think he's a freaking psychopath? What do you think?
Yeah, what's the diagnosis?
Should I look him up and see if he killed his wife in her sleep one night?
I hope not.
God, I hope not too. I don't even remember his name at this point. So, anyways, that's that. We'll end on a dark note. Bye, guys.
Bye.